So Spider-Man PS4 has a great story, but I do have a few problems with it. Oh my goodness. So for those of you who haven't finished the game, I highly suggest you finishing the game before you watch this video because there's obviously going to be spoilers in here. Duh. Now, when it comes to the story, for a Spider-Man fan, there was nothing really surprising in the story except the ending, and we'll cover that later. But for those of you who know the certain beats of the characters that are in there, like, there was never a moment in time where I was like, oh, maybe Dr. Octavius isn't going to be the well-known Dr. Octavius villain that we've known for, what, generations and decades and decades. Like, there was never a moment in time where I was like, well, maybe he's not going to be bad. Like, I always knew that's where they were going to go. When it comes to Martin Lee, I didn't really feel anything from Martin Lee because the period of time that he's good and turns into evil is so quick, it happens so fast that we don't really get an establishment for his foundation of his character. Like, we get that he's a good guy, that he's built up, feasts, and he's humanitarian and all this. It's so quick. It's all in really exposition, through seeing pictures of him with Uncle Ben or seeing pictures of him with Aunt May and all that. It's like, yeah, that's good, but like, all we get is him saying, the birthday party. And then, like, a few shots of him, interacting with Peter or something like that. Like, I didn't feel anything for his character. We come to find out later his motivations for turning evil and everything. There's a moment in the game, like, probably just moments after, the terrorist attack that happened with Norman Osborn, and Peter knows that Martin Lee is responsible for the deaths of countless individuals. And he's talking to this guy like, mum's word, like he's just like passive aggressive. And he's like, Martin Lee's giving him a subtle like death threat, knowing damn well he just killed, what's his name, Miles's father. So it was just like, yo, why aren't you doing anything? I know you tried to follow him and all of that, but like, I guess this is coming from, me reading Superior Spider-Man, because I'm like on issue number 11. I'm like, yo, this had been Doc Ock, it had been boop, bink, it had been game over. So I don't know, I felt like there was something he could have done in that moment of letting him know, hey, Spider-Man will stop you, or hey, somebody's going to stop you, or something like, hey, not only do I know that you're the bad guy, but I know that, the police are coming, somebody's coming for you. And he's just like, he was just silent, because when he asked him, hey, I didn't know you were an Osborn fan or something like that. Peter's just like,
at an Osborn rally. I didn't know you were a fan.
Just like, why would you be silent in that situation? He just said, you coming from his place, knowing that he hates Osborn, and his life has been building up to him trying to kill him. You're going to be silent and let him think that you're a fan of Osborn? Like, it didn't make sense. That scene didn't click for me. In addition to that, when it comes to us finding out that, he's the one that killed his parents because of experimentation from Norman and all of that, like, I didn't care. Like, that didn't hit me at all. Because A, I don't know his parents, and B, I really don't even know him. So how am I going to feel for two people that I know nothing about? Like, yeah, it's sad that it's his parents, but it's just like, other than it being just sad, like, there's no depth to it. It all felt super, super shallow. Moving forward, when it comes to Doc Ock, I really like Doc Ock. I really like he's going through, this illness, whatever, where it attacks muscles, and that's why he's fidgeting and all that. I like all that. I like this rivalry between Norman and Doc Ock and how they were friends and broke up. I get all that. But what happens is all of this unravels, just completely destroys all of that with the ending. Because we come to find out he knew that he was Peter all this time, that Peter was Spider-Man. So it makes you think, at what point did he really become bad? What point did he become evil? Because we go back into the lab and we see that he was planning all this from the get-go.
He was planning this right under my nose. Was it just an idea in his head until the interface pushed him over the edge?
All that remorse, I felt like, oh, it's so sad, it's so sad. It's like, yo, like, this guy could have been evil the whole damn time. If it wasn't for Peter, he would even have the arms. So I'm like, he goes from designing arms to then creating the arms and making them turn into weapons. So I'm like, where did that transition happen? There was never a set moment in time where the game or Peter or somebody tells us, like, yo, it was this what triggered him off, or it was this moment where he turned evil. Because we come to find out, like I said, at the end of the game, you knew. I'm just like, well, then I don't care anymore. Then you should get your butt kicked. there is a one moment in the game where he says, it really got me. Because, he comes out with the tentacles and he's like, I've done it. I'm the man. And Peter's like, yo, there's problems in this. You got to stop this. And he's like, no. He's like, Otto, you're not a failure. You're not a failure. I was like, oh, that's so sad. All this time, he's thought himself as a failure or whatever. He's been, this cowardly little guy, and now he's feel powerful.
For the first time in my life, I don't feel like a failure. I feel like me. Otto, you're not a failure. But this could permanently damage your mind. Please.
But then it just erases that at the end. So now I don't even know if he was actually insecure or if he was feigning that for Peter because he knew he was Spider-Man or whatever and he was trying to get, Peter be on his side or something like that. Another thing is that why didn't Otto try to use the devil's breath and for it to cure his illness? Because Norman was using the devil's breath in an attempt to try and cure his son, Harry. So I'm like, why wouldn't Otto just use the devil's breath to cure himself or something like that? Because that's what the devil's breath was supposed to be used to cure illnesses. So I'm like, Otto, you have an illness where it eats your muscles. So in a year or less than that, you're going to be a motionless, just carcass. Like, why wouldn't you try and use the devil's breath to cure that? Like that didn't make any sense to me. So he's going to release the devil's breath on the people just to get back at Norman. So he wants to kill a whole bunch of people to show the people of the city that Norman is such a bad mayor. Bruh, you could have done that by leaking a few audio tapes or something, or you could have done that by leaking a few documents. You didn't need to go through all this, rigmarole of devil's breath and all that. That made no sense to me. In addition to that, he creates these arms. I'm like, how do you go from creating arms for soldiers to creating these tentacles and forming them into weapons? Why would you do that? So what? So now he's just going to be just drooling and all that. He's going to be essentially Stephen Hawking's, but with arms. And unless they're going that route like they did in the comics, then it doesn't make any sense to me. Unless they want to go the Superior Spider-Man route, which I think would be fantastic, because I'm reading Superior Spider-Man. I'm like, yo, I like Otto as Spider-Man more than I like Peter. Yo, he's more efficient. He's getting stuff done. He's got his little spider bots, looking at the city. So he's like, yo, he's prioritizing his life. Now, finishing this off, we're going to tackle Aunt May. Now, I have to say, I like Aunt May in this game. I like her a lot, and it was definitely a shock, as I'm sure to many of you guys out there, when she dies. I was like, what? Because I was like, okay, no, it's still going to beep. It's still going to beep. And then when it goes beep, I was like, wow, they killed off Aunt May. And then I started rethinking. I was like, wait, they killed off Aunt May. The thing I have with them killing off Aunt May is that, first off, Aunt May, I very much felt, was Peter's anchor to this world. It was Peter's anchor to his sanity. Because he would always have to worry about Aunt May. I don't want, have to fight off crime, but I have to keep my identity secret because of the people I love, specifically Aunt May. Aunt May would always bring him back, would always just focus him. And with her gone, who does Peter have left? I guess you could say Mary Jane, but Mary Jane's fickle. They just coming out of a breakup. Come on now. I'm not going to really put my faith in Mary Jane, in this Mary Jane. So I'm like, this dude is alone. Like I already told you in the review, there was a moment in time he was swinging around and he was homeless. He couldn't go to Mary Jane because Mary Jane was, I can't believe you. So he could, swerve with that and had to go to Aunt May. Something happens with his job. He has no place to stay. MJ has a little attitude. He's going to be swinging around homeless. What? He's going to do a little web cocoon on the side of Oscorp or something like that? Come on now. But the second and more important issue is what I was thinking is, did they deserve it? Did they really earn to kill off Aunt May? And that's where I'm kind of battling, because I don't know. Because here's the thing. When I first saw Aunt May die, it got me. I was like, wow, this is powerful. But I had to think, was this powerful because of the story, because of the Aunt May in this world? Or was it powerful because of the Aunt May that I've grown to know and love? Is it because of the character Aunt May? I think that's a distinguishing factor. And I gotta say, Aunt May, she's a pivotal role in this game and everything. We get Aunt May, she's kind, considerate, she knows what's on the up and all that. But I'm just like, I would have liked to see Aunt May live out, you know, another game or you know, maybe 2 games or 3 games and really build up to that. Because I don't know, for them to do their first game and kill off Aunt May, that's a pretty big step. That's life changing to Peter. And I would have rather them kill off someone else who is not as big of a character as Aunt May. Maybe someone like Martin Lee, where he sacrificed himself for the good of humanity or something like that. If they wanted to kill off anyone. But I don't know, because I have to think, like, if I were just brand new to Spider-Man and everything, and I didn't know anything about Aunt May or the characters or the roles, you know, the big impact she's had on Peter, and I didn't know anything about Uncle Ben and all that, like, I would watch this game. I don't think it would have the same impact on me. I think it would be, wow, that's really sad, but I don't think it would hit me like it hit me when it first happened. So I don't know. I'm still going back and forth with that, whether it's really the story that got me or whether it was just me knowing the character that got me. Let me know what you guys think. Now, one final note that I do have to add that I really, like, immensely enjoyed was the backstory of, like, Rhino, Electro, who's other, Vulture. Like, when you go into Octavius's lair and you find out why they're working with Otto. Like, because you have to think, like, how did he even get all of this done? You're going to have a Rhino, a Scorpion, Vulture, and all of them just agreeing to work with Otto just out of the blue? And it wasn't until you start looking and you start interacting with the things like, okay, Rhino wants to get out of the suit. You know, Otto has already designed a way for him to get out of his suit. Or Electro wants to become, you know, wants to become pure energy. Otto's designed a way for that to happen or get close to it. And you start to see, oh, okay, this is Otto's has promised these guys these certain things. That's why they're working with them. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you thoroughly enjoyed the story, if you actually enjoyed the story, but there are certain things, I don't know, that kind of rubbed you the wrong way, or you found certain plot holes. Either or. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. Peter's just like,